All right, ready? Okay, let's call to order the Board of Library Trustees for Tuesday, August 17th, 2021. Roll call, please.
Trustee Gala.
Here.
Trustee Metal.
Here.
Trustee Rule.
Here.
Trustee Smart.
Here.
Trustee Samori.
Here.
Trustee Suplet.
There.
President Zick.
Here. Any public comments?
Please use the village's Novus agenda system for the board meetings and committee of the whole meetings, agendas, minutes, and supporting documentation, so I can do the information in a familiar format.
Thanks for your comments. Okay, let's move on. Oh, by the way, thank you everybody for the last second, dealing with the last second movement of coming down here. I think it was a good decision by all involved. All right, so let's move on to liaison reports. Friends.
Okay, Friends approved a bike rack replacement for the makerspace. It includes a full replacement of the bike rack, a additional tools, public tools kit. So it's like a repair kit for the for bikes and a pump. All of those will be publicly accessible and out on the front sidewalk. The wish list item was $3,575. They also held their fourth market sale on August 14th. Revenue was a record for their market sales in the amount of $5,503.45. And their next market sale is planned for September 25th. That's all I have.
All right, great. Let's move on to the foundation.
Okay, I do not have an update from the foundation other than they are doing their balancing act and scrambling. That was a quote from so. Yeah. So that's all I have.
All right, great. Thank you very much. All right, let's move on to action item 1, approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting, July 21st, 2021. Motion for approval.
I motion that we approve the minutes as stated.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That one passes. Let's move on to item 2, and review of the financial report for the period ended July 31st, 2020.
Okay, ask Donna to join us at the table.
There. All right, let's start with the revenue report. We did not receive real estate tax receipts in July. Property tax bills are typically issued in June, but they're going to be issued in August. So you'll see a little bit of a difference from one year over the next. And so it looks like we're $2 million behind. We are not. We should be receiving approximately 100% of our regular tax property tax receipts. We received PPRT funding in the amount of $30,023.50. Copier printer revenue, total of $2,797. Collection fees, $90. Lost item charges, $1,231. July interest was $192.67 in our operating budget and $185.77 in our capital budget. For July, donations totaled $152.62. We received a reimbursement from the Friends for expenses totaling $674.97. And the foundation reimbursed us for a light for $328.95. And then vehicle sticker revenue was $304. So the total collected in July, again, different from 2020 and previous years, was $36,064.38 on the side of revenue. As far as the expenses go, 58% of the fiscal year has lapsed. We've expensed 51% of our total operating budget. So our favorable variance right now is $1,058,000. Again, we talk about construction of the makerspace. It's continuing, and the total this year expense to date is $747,000. So we've spent 36% of our total capital budget so far. it for that report.
And all the expenses that you got broken down for the makerspace. This is really helpful. Showing where we are and how much we can spend on the different items. So thank you for that. Okay, let's move on to action item 3, review of the check register for the period ended July 31st, 2021.
Let's start on page 1. There's a Garvey's order on check number 82115, totaling $3,086.39. And this was for 9 chairs, the replacement chairs for staff. They had older model chairs and they received new ones. And then just want to let you all know that there is a $25,000 line item and it's year over year in the administration budget for replacement furniture. So that's part of that budget. On page 2, there were 3 tuition reimbursements. Check 82092 for Susan Beckman, $400.50. Check 82105, Rich Lorian, $879. And check 82189 for Matt Williams, $879. Moving on to page 4. Check 82112 for Fry's Automotive. The total here was $823.28. There was a fuel leak on the bookmobile, so that had to be repaired. So it was out of commission for a few days. On page 5, check number 82155, Oak Brook Mechanical. The amount of this was $4,566. The Miller picking unit, which you all know is coming up, the replacement of that is coming up in the fall, but there was a repair needed now to the current system. Right?
Yes.
So yeah, a couple months after that. And then on page 14, there was a question about check 82094 for biblioteca. And the amount here was $22,989.95. And this was for cloud library, ebooks, and audiobooks. That is it for the check register.
More questions? Okay, do we have a motion for approval of the check register?
I would move that we approve the accounts payable check register for the library of July 31st, 2021, in the amount of $1,406,772.61.
Second.
Thank you. Any more questions or comments?
Would you mind if I go over the budget timetable quickly, or would that be later?
The budget timetable for the makerspace, right?
No, just to let everybody know here on the.
Oh,
what's
what am I
happening.
thinking? And I asked about it too.
We have
Yes.
We have a motion on the floor, though, so we should approve the motion.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Is there any more questions or comments? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee Geller,
Yes.
trustee Meadow,
Yes.
trustee Rule,
Yes.
trustee Smart,
Yes.
trustee Samari,
Yes.
trustee Suplet,
Aye.
president Zick.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, let's go over the timetable for the budget, just so everybody's, it's coming up here.
Okay, so this was presented at the committee of the whole meeting on May 3rd, but I just want to reiterate what was going on this list and what's been happening here. So on August 6th, all of the managers turned in their information. That was the due date. So everything that was received ended up into a draft. So after creating a draft, LAT met for 3 days last week. We went over in detail all the add-ons, all the transfers, some reductions in some areas. And so that is compiled again. So that's going to be ready to present to you in September at the committee of the whole meeting. So that's the next step with that.
What's the date of it?
Monday, September 13th.
So the first one's going to be presented on 13th of September. Okay. So what's the next dates after that?
So October 4th.
So there's nothing else in September?
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
And then on October 4th, there's another committee of the whole meeting. And then that'll be most likely the final budget. And then on October 19th at the board meeting, the budget can be adopted.
Okay.
And then again in November, that's when the budget hearing happens with the village, and we don't have an exact date on that for this time.
All right, got it. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And Donna, with this being your last, just want to say thank you very much. Last board meeting, thank you very much for everything you've done the last few years. It's been incredible. We're going to miss you. Done a lot of good, so good luck in everything
Thank you so
as
much.
you go forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go on now to the executive director.
Okay, we have a few things in the director's report. I'll highlight this one. On the first page, our conference rooms reopened. So after more than a year of closure, the conference rooms reopened on July 1st. Promotion on the website, social media, and the electronic sign in the library increased room usage to about 50% by the end of the month. On July 1st, the studios also fully reopened for public use. While much of the studio's equipment and software were available outside of the computer lab during the pandemic restrictions, the enclosed space for audio recording, photography, and video work was unavailable. So we made that available once again. And then let's see, third page. The Arlington Heights Senior Center Reading Room is now open also, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. That opened in mid-July. And the senior center became available for the first time since the pandemic began as a pickup location for holds. The expansion of programs and services at the senior center was reflected in July's numbers, with program attendance, computer room usage, and library visits up to 105%, 134%, and 59% respectively over the prior month. On the next page, to highlight the teen summer volunteer squad, the art activist summer volunteer squad, led by our youth outreach librarian, Emily Koch, programs and exhibit specialist, Emily Muzinski, and youth librarian, Christina Jomelli-Caputo. They created artwork throughout the summer to bring awareness to causes the teens wanted to spotlight. Teen volunteers created a display of their artwork in the hub, available to view through the month of August. The display includes pieces about climate change, mental health, sexism, and LGBTQ inclusion issues. That same page at the bottom, our summer volunteer squad. Let's see. 99 Arlington Heights teens in grades 7 through 12 took time out of their busy lives to volunteer a total of 670 hours with the library in service of the community. Squads planned a variety of programming for youth, creating grab-and-go book bundles for Kids World customers and designing summer activity kits for all ages for the month of August. Volunteers in 8 squads attended 54 planning meetings, delivered 28 programs for library customers, assembled hundreds of themed book bundles, and prepared hundreds of activity kits. And on the next page, the concerts in the park are happening again. In partnership with the Arlington Heights Park District, the library brought 2 concerts to North School Park. On July 6th, Scribble Monsters entertained a crowd of 200. And on July 13th, Ben Tater and the Tater Tots engaged 300 customers with fun songs about foods. At both events, about 100 customers visited the library table to create their own Scribble Monsters and play a food matching game. Okay, then on the next page, Movie in the Park returns also. Our youth outreach librarian, Emily Koch, and programs and exhibits specialist, Emily Muzinski, joined forces with the Arlington Heights Park District for this summer's first Movie in the Park. 147 attended with safely distanced picnic blankets and camping chairs to watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse on a big inflatable screen at Rec Park. Families were entertained with glow sticks, color changing pencils, and activity sheets before the movie started. And this was the first of 3 movie events in the park this summer. And on that same page at the bottom, following a profile in our summer newsletter and a Daily Herald article, Arlington Heights native and author Catherine Standifer returned to Arlington Heights for 2 July events with her hometown library. On July 12th, she connected with 99 participants on Zoom for a dynamic discussion revolving around her memoir, Lightning Flowers, My Journey to Uncover the Cost of Saving a Life. The night started with a short reading by the author. Info Services Advisor Joan Lasky then facilitated a discussion exploring the United States healthcare system and people's people's relationship with medical technology, the topic of Katie's research and book. This program was recorded and is available on demand on the library's YouTube channel. Then on July 15th, Programs and Exhibit Specialist Neil Parker hosted Katie in delivering a virtual memoir writing workshop. Katie shared several writing prompts in a thoughtful email ahead of the event. On event day, she welcomed 9 eager writers and jumped right into exercises. Several participants shared their work while Katie offered encouragement and advice. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive, and we included a few comments there. Okay, and on the next page, I'm going to highlight the new 33 1/3 series, which continues with Carol King's Tapestry on its 50th anniversary. The second in our new partnership series welcomes Lauren Glass, author of Carol King's Tapestry, who discussed the significance of the seminal record with moderator Bill Cara, fiction and media librarian from the Northbrook Public Library. Programs and Exhibit Specialist Neil Parker and audiovisual librarian Michael White from Glenview Public Library joined in welcoming an audience of 143. Author Lauren Glass focused on his personal connection with the album, details on making the record, and fielded questions that came in through chat. This program was also recorded and is available on the library's YouTube channel. And then skip the page and move on to the vehicle stickers. So just wanted to let you know that we had our busiest month to date for vehicle stickers with 34 issued in July. Our 100th vehicle sticker renewal was issued on July 31st at the checkout desk. Then I want to highlight our display cases. Those reopened beginning July 1st. Display cases on the second floor reopened and featured 2 stellar displays for the community. The lobby display cases near the Dutton Avenue door feature selections from Arlington Heights collector and library trustee, Debbie Smart. She has an expansive collection of World Columbian Exposition memorabilia. The program manager from Elk Grove Historical Society actually asked library staff about the possibility of posting the collection.
I told me he has to pay the Arlington Heights on the library.
And on the second floor, our Friends of the Library displays are in cases outside of the Hendricks Center. So thank you, Debbie, for lending the collection. It's very popular and it's quite an amazing collection. Okay, next page, I want to highlight the professional development. Our Info Services Supervisor, Elizabeth Ludeman, and Community and Circulation Services Manager, Shannon Meyer, were appointed to serve on the Public Library Association's Annual Conference 2022 Program Subcommittee. Committee members serve through the end of ALA's annual conference in 2022. And our Digital Services Librarian, Bill Pardue, and Information Librarian, Jamie Middendorf, participated with staff from the Chicago History Museum and Newberry Library in the on-demand virtual presentation, Archiving the Present, Collecting COVID-19 Stories for the annual ALA conference. The presentation, which went live on July 7th, outlined the library's COVID-19 Stories Initiative and shared takeaways. On the next page, our Teen Services Supervisor, Alice Sun, was appointed the chairperson of the Youth Commission at the Village Board meeting on August 2nd. Alice will lead the group of 6 adult members and 7 youth members, providing recommendations to the Village Board, as well as develop, promote, and present youth programs. So that is all I had for the main director's report. You guys have any questions about anything? I'd be happy to answer them there. All right, then I want to move on to our focus report. This month, we'll be talking about new services, and I would like to invite Trixie Dantis and Maria Papanasasiou to the table to discuss the report you have in front of you.
Hello.
I think I've met everybody formally, but I'm Youth Services Manager, Trixie Dantis.
And I'm Maria Papanasasiou,
Youth Services Assistant Manager. Thank you for including us on the agenda tonight. Since you've had a chance to read through the focus report, Maria and I will just briefly talk through it and are happy to take any questions throughout. Feel free to stop us, or of course we can take questions after as well. The Youth Services Department develops and delivers services for customers birth through high school and their caregivers. This differs from some libraries that include teens with adult services. Even though some teens have adult-sized bodies, they are still kids whose brains are developing. This organization is important to our service model, so there is a through line of services for youth customers. We plan services considering developmental needs through childhood and adolescence. We also consider services for parents or caregivers that will benefit our target audience. In-library services are primarily delivered in Kids World and the Hub. In Kids World, it's common to see children engage with hands-on activities, socializing around the shared toys that we have out on the floor, exercising their imagination at our imagination station, which changes out regularly to encourage dramatic play, creating something with the crafts or tween DIY kits we offer in the space. Kids also use our video gaming consoles, board games, and computers for gaming or sometimes schoolwork in the space. Of course, it's typical to see kids being read to and reading on their own in the reading nook in the I Can Read area or under the skylight on the great couch. Study tables provide space for completing schoolwork as well. For teens in the hub, the most important thing is hanging out with their friends. In the space, they might meet up and use the video gaming consoles in there or the computers to game online, but together in person. The hub also has a board game collection that teens use and they make and explore in our DIY area. During the school year, especially during finals and standardized testing months, teens meet up there to study or work on projects together. And we're going to talk a little bit about collections.
So collections are obviously an integral part of our services because we are a library. And we, aside from our print and e-collections, we offer circulating AV, toys, puzzles, games, tablets, videos, and STEM kits. Our collections have always accounted for a healthy part of the overall library circulation. And while they have declined during the pandemic, they once again are in the upswing. A silver lining to the pandemic was actually our ability to refocus our efforts on readers advisory, whether through bookfee services, pop-ups at the drive-up. You may have seen some large dancing penguins or unicorns previously, and our popular grab and go book bundles. We also saw the launch of several new collection related services. Early learning kits were developed as part of our family place libraries. They're curated kits that focus on concepts or life events such as a visit to a doctor, first day of school, etc. We also saw the launch of our parenting collection during this time as well. And this provides parenting books and support for caregivers in a location that's accessible to them where their kids are playing and they can be close by and find supporting resources. We also saw the launch of our teen lit crates during this time. Subscription boxes are very popular. Maybe you have subscribed to some, but they're also very expensive. In an effort to remove barriers and offer subscription services through the library, we wanted to provide something because teens often decline in their pleasure reading. And so we wanted to offer a service that's available in a popular format and that's accessible for all and incentivizes them to connect with books. This increases hopefully their likelihood to continue reading for pleasure for both avid readers and for reluctant readers. My teen personally loves them, and my tween is, or my almost tween is very curious about when it's going to be her turn to get the next teen or tween like grades too. We've also seen success in moving around parts of our collection. We moved our teen graphic novels and manga from inside the hub to outside the hub and saw a tremendous increase in circulation. And for this reason too, we recommend moving all of our teen collection to be outside the hub so that we can increase access to the collection, increase visibility, and hopefully increase circulation. And coming soon, we will be having a launch of our accessibility support collection. This is a collection that is being developed with input from a community of families with children who receive therapy services and is being funded by City of Support, one of our longtime community partners. So we're having a launch on Tuesday, October 26th for Inclusion Awareness Month. So hopefully you all will be there and can come and join us for that.
Okay, moving on to programs. Programs are a well-loved aspect of the services we provide to the community. As mentioned in the report, Youth Services averages 90 programs monthly, with most of those being original staff-delivered events. Staff develop and present most of the programs, with only a handful delivered by hired presenters. This served as an advantage during the pandemic. We were able to adjust quickly, creating and delivering content for virtual programs within 10 days of the library building closing. Similarly, we were able to adjust back to in-person activities and events as the guidelines changed. The report mentioned the addition of the passive category by the State Library in 2019. The June spikes in passive program participation represent our summer reading challenge. This summer, we had over 1,600 participants in summer reading. We also launched a couple of passive programs while the building was closed due to COVID. At the start of the pandemic, we launched a year-long reading program for our kindergarten through third grade customers. Previously, we did not offer a year-long reading program for this age group. We were considering it and quickly launched it during the pandemic after hearing from local teachers that this would be a great way to engage and support young readers.
When I read that on the whole passive, how do we count that?
So for the reading program, since we use Beanstack, it counts automatically through the online tracking system.
Okay.
For something like activity kits, we base it on how many we give out.
Okay.
So yeah, just based on participation, or we have a scavenger hunt and kids were all, however many forms were turned in.
Okay. Thank you.
For Read 500, which is the K-3 reading program, we have 619 participants in that program today. Another passive program offered during the building closure was the youth activity kits. You may remember the clothesline hanging outside the Dutch entrance when we were offering limited library services. The kits have been incredibly popular with thousands of crafts and activities bagged and distributed monthly. As we were relaunching services and getting back to normal, we'll be phasing out the bag kits, offering hands-on crafts and activities in the spaces as we did before the pandemic. Program satisfaction is high for youth programs, averaging 4.7 on a 5-point scale. Capturing youth satisfaction has been challenging, especially when programming for younger ages. Ideally, we'd like to assess the child's level of satisfaction, not their caregivers, who might be the one who's completing the evaluation for the program. Of course, caregiver satisfaction is important, and it's captured when they're the target audience for our programming, but we really want to focus on the youth that we're programming for. As far as determining what types of programs to deliver, we focus on developmental needs and outcomes for the participants. We also believe that customers vote with their feet. So when we see that attendance has dropped for a series or a type of program, we might explore ways to either tweak that or may just sunset it if it's something that doesn't make sense. With the switch to virtual programs, we have taken advantage of Zoom polls to capture the types of programs participants would like to attend, and then we'll use that data as we plan for 2022 and beyond.
I just had a question about the program satisfaction. As far as when did Beanstack, was it last summer that it started as far as the summer reading? Because I know was it primarily the summer was the first, or was it last instead of the the coloring?
Gosh, we launched Beanstack in 2018.
18 for teens and then 19 for all youth.
Okay. Have you seen any difference between participation or any feedback and satisfaction with, the coloring in of the little trail versus the logging online, or is that not in yet?
We haven't, I do think that younger children prefer to color in, but we still give a paper log.
Okay.
So you can still participate on a paper log. And then when you come in to claim prizes, we just log it in Beanstack so that it's
And
tracked.
you do it for it. Okay. I was just curious if the overall, just as we make these switches, even in the whole world, right, that we're kind of moving, whether it's the school or anything. So I was just curious. So thanks.
And I will say that just based on everything with the pandemic and remote learning, overwhelmingly, we've heard from parents that they want their kids off screens.
Yeah.
And we've definitely seen that in our programming as well. So our programming that's been in person, we've had a great response. And not that we haven't had a great response virtually, but we are seeing less of a no-show rate for those in-person programs.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to outreach and community partners. Outreach is an important aspect of our service model. Collaborating with community partners to serve local youth helps us engage with young customers where they are and connect them with the library and its resources. We deliver outreach regularly to 53 local daycare centers, preschools, and K-12 schools. Organizations with an enrollment that comprises of 45% Arlington Heights residents are eligible for outreach services from the library. But with fluctuating enrollment numbers, this has been a little bit tricky to adhere to. A new service that we and our school partners are very excited about is the educator cards. This service launched during the pandemic and helped connect teachers with online resources to support them and their students while they were remote learning. And it's something that I know our teachers are really looking forward to as they're planning the upcoming school year. It's our ongoing goal to foster and garner community partnerships with organizations like District 214's Women and Children's Center, the Autism Center, Northwest Community Hospital, the Park District, collaborating with these partners to find new ways to support local youth. Maria's going to talk about our Family Place initiative, which kind of focuses on community resources.
So for those of you who might be newer, I'm just going to share a little bit about what Family Place Libraries is. So AHML is part of the Family Place Libraries network of over 300 libraries nationwide that follow the Family Place Libraries model. It's an interdisciplinary framework for programs and services to meet the needs of very young children and their caregivers. We focus on creating spaces, collections, programs, and services that center the library as a place to provide support, resources, and connection for families both in the library and by partnering with the community. One of the most important components of being a Family Place library is our Family Place workshop. Pre-pandemic, that was the Play, Learn, and Grow workshop. Post-pandemic, or during pandemic, it was the Learn and Grow workshop where we took it virtually. And this is a program series where we can connect caregivers with community resource specialists, as well as provide additional resources and connect families further with community referrals. So all this is done to center the library as a place and a hub in the community, along with their community partners, as a place to support families as their children grow. And obviously, as I heard before the board meeting started, that doesn't stop, right? When they're adults, and that's our whole point, is we want to help support families as they grow.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
So wasn't our Family Place certification kind of delayed for a period of time?
It was.
We have it now, and what's the process? Do we have to be recertified how often? And my last question is, and I want to really confuse it, how many other libraries in the area are Family Place libraries in the suburbs?
In Illinois,
Yeah.
There's only one other one, and that's Evanston.
That's Evanston?
So
Okay.
we're only
And
the
so we
second,
are
and
certified.
I'm not certain if they're still maintaining their certification or not, but they were the only library in Illinois that was certified.
Okay.
In terms of, there's definitely been a delay. And the last I spoke with Family Place, because they're also actively serving as public libraries for the most part for their national library staff. They're also experiencing delays due to the pandemic and also have restrictions on staff visiting. So our official certification in terms of when we get a site visit will probably be next year, assuming everything goes according to plan, but we are officially certified. We can say we're a Family Place library, yeah, but we don't have like the cool banner, stuff like that yet. But that's coming soon.
Okay, as we look to the future, we know that we can improve on the 2010 remodel of Kids World, creating better organization and flow through the space with zones that serve all of the different age groups that use the space. We also know that adding a family bathroom with space for a stroller would greatly benefit families using the space. In the hub, adding study rooms would better serve teens in need of a space to work on projects solo or in a group, with hub resources and dedicated staff nearby to assist them if that's needed. I think that this will become more important as we're seeing more local schools add college-like seminar courses to their curriculum that focus on extensive research outside of their school library.
So it sounds like, with all the stuff we're gonna do for the future, it sounds like there's gonna need to be some restructuring of the area over there. Have you thought about what that's gonna look like?
We have thought about it, yes.
Okay, okay, let me ask you another question. Is it in the budget? Is it? It is, yes.
And we've engaged with Williams to help us with that. So
Yeah, there you go.
we have-
That's the answer.
That's the answer. Okay.
Okay, I have a question on that I've been following up. I spend a lot of time in the kids department, don't ask me why. I'm intrigued by what some of the other libraries are doing, my position at ALA. There are some like crazy things out there, right? Slides, jungle gyms, all that kind of stuff. So I presume we are really taking our time and not just doing what's cool today, but thinking about tomorrow and liability. Donnie will be happy your last meeting. Liability issues, obviously with kids, because I mean, I was in a library at a meeting and there was a kid who fell off a jungle gym right in front of me and cut open their lip. So, I mean, I want to make sure, I know we want to be fancy and splashy and shiny, but I want to make sure also that we're level headed on this. And I feel very comfortable, obviously, with the two of you and your staff involved with.
So no climbing wall.
Strike that from the plan.
You're gonna be adult.
No, there was one in
That's
Nashville.
exactly where it was, yes. And, these slides where they disappear and, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. I'm not saying it's not cool. But I just, I appreciate the fact that we've actually taken our time, I think, to some extent. Maybe it's been a little impatience for you because I know it's a long time coming. And I'm happy to hear it's next year, finally. But, I mean, I just want to make sure we're doing something, not just for today, but, for tomorrow.
Yeah, we're not doing any jungle gyms.
Yeah, thank you.
That kind of thing. We are looking at some of the educational, interactive things. Girl?
Yeah, we, Gil Gordon had actually created a plan, a rather expensive plan for the refurbishment of our kids' space. And with the pandemic, we put it on hold. Because I don't know at this moment what a children's department's gonna look like in the future. It may not have those jungle gyms. It may not have, we have a very, 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 very popular play area that brings a lot of people in, but should that be, and it was incorporated into the new design, but I think it's prudent, just to see what this year brings as far as, the future of children's spaces. Yeah.
We have a modest plan, I would call it. It's a refresh and, adding some restrooms and some of these things, and then, creating the space to be able to grow and to organize the department in a better way and to add some of these features, but it's not a whole lot of renovation.
Well, and we're a little limited here because of our ceiling height, not having real tall ceilings, it's hard to stick those slides in sometimes.
So actually, I was looking, because I was thinking about, and in between the staircase here, we could actually really pull it out the second floor.
And onward, Amy.
I was just gonna say, this is amazing, and I think for many people that moved to Arlington Heights, maybe out of the city, they have toddlers, this is really their first experience with the library, and so I think it's terrific that we have so many different options and, a great way to invite them to the library. And when I was reading this, and also part of Mike's report on the early childhood or prepare for kindergarten, that and these early learning kits. I don't know, that to me is such a big story. And I know that you have such a well-attended preschool information night, and maybe we could, or maybe you already do, give the early learning kits out or have some there or have some prepare for kindergarten. It just seems like it's kind of all seamless and together. And again, that's another time when people who may not have been in the library a lot before are like, wow, look at all the stuff we do. So pretty great stuff. Thank you.
Thank you for the report. That it's kids were all in the hub and all that kind of stuff as always. My kids are older now, but we spend a lot of time over there. Oh, and I should probably put this in after all these years. My daughter always wanted to say we need coat hooks over there, but that's a whole other thing. So after all these years, I found something. But no, it's fantastic. When I was reading, the countdown to kindergarten, different things like that we put together. I mean, it's kids are where it starts, obviously. Whatever thing we do for them is awesome, and what you guys do is fantastic too. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Great, very good. All right, let's move on to item 4, the makerspace update.
Okay, I would like to invite Natalie from Williams Architects to the table to discuss our makerspace update, our makerplace update. I did provide you guys a memo with quite a few pictures and just kind of showing you where the progress is at. And, you know, these are outdated as soon as I write them because things are just continuing over there. So things are moving along swimmingly, I think. We have a date of open of September 19th that we're looking for. It's a Sunday, so we'll be doing an event on the 19th. We'll also be doing a few events surrounding that, both the week before and likely the week after, for our partners such as the Friends Foundation, the neighbors in the community, the chamber community, the business community, stuff like that. So we will be sending you that schedule shortly. So Natalie, do you want to highlight anything that's going on in the project or?
Just that, what you've already said, it is wrapping up pretty nicely here. The kitchen, I think, is one of the few items where we are working out some details. Furniture is due in very soon, and that is kind of determining our open.
Yeah, we did receive the resin top tables, the customer service desk. We're still waiting on our large order of chairs and a couple other things to complete the outfit. And then there were a few other things that were still back ordered, but they're more minor things. But we are feeling like we're in a pretty good spot.
Yes.
With getting things on site, given some of the delays that happened for supply chain and from our vendors. So.
I have a question. How are our partners at the village? Are they being nice on our?
Yes.
Yeah. I had a nice conversation with George the other day. I'm letting you know.
Yes, there was,
I think he reached out.
since the last time I was here, there was some questions from the village. Those were questions that we had already addressed with the village. So they were handled before the question even came to the board. And we did get our engineering approval from the Water Reclamation District. So we are okay to get occupancy tickets as soon as we finish the rest of our inspections.
George has been very accommodating as far as staging the building and stuff like that. So they've been great to work.
There was some issues with chairs or something like that a couple months ago that we thought weren't going to be there by the.
Those are the ones that are waiting.
Those are the ones that we're
I think
waiting.
they're coming in Monday.
Oh,
That's their projection.
yeah, because that was supposed to be in August originally. Any, okay, so we're shooting for the 18th, 19th, being that open. What do you see as potential issues with meeting that date?
The biggest hangups we've had is getting the contractors to the building, being that we're kind of, they're spread thin because of schools opening and stuff like that. So it's been a little tough getting a couple of the contractors over there. The sewing room, I think, added a little bit to the timeline, just because our original timeline did not include any of those add-ons or everything like that. So adding that, re-engineering the ceiling, there were a few.
The ceiling was the largest. The ceiling above the sewing room is very messy. It's very full of pipes. A lot of it was buried, and so we couldn't see what was actually up there until we took down the ceiling. We've added a lot of pipes and vents to it for the kitchen above. So, and then we also need to meet the current code with the ceiling height. So finding a place to rest the ceiling height and then getting all of the sprinklers and everything we needed in there for the cost that we agreed to was a challenge, but we did do it. We got it all.
And it looks really good. The ceiling feels actually very high.
Yeah, it's higher than it was before.
Isn't that a lot of the area too? We have a lot of the Comcast mucking them up in that corner from Comcast wiring and stuff.
No, that's coming in
That's in
the
Oh, that was coming in from the
across
bottom.
the way, but there is our water inlets and stuff
Yeah,
are
yeah.
coming in right there, so they kind of hang down into the room a little bit.
So now I can do with contractors. Is there any concern? Because I know it's going to be tough. I know this date of September 19th is going to be a tough one. I guess maybe the statement more than anything, just keep us in mind or keep us up to date, and exactly what's going on. If there are any issues, yes, personally, I would like it, if we can do this on the 19th, let's get this whole thing going.
I think the only maybe issue that came up yesterday, it was Friday and yesterday, was a controller panel that between the electrician, our engineers and the electrical engineer, they were deciding who was supposed to spec it and when it should have been ordered and who's supposed to install it. So, but I think that's been cleared up by SMC.
They worked that out, yeah. That was for the hood in the kitchen.
Yes.
So we're gonna talk about that. Yeah. And so the issue for us is really the construction will be done. It's the staging to get everything, populated in there. Until final inspection, we can't cover up outlets, we can't cover up anything that they would get to. So, so that's the only thing. So any construction delay now is kind of magnified when it comes to staging. We've been, working with the staff that are setting up over there. They're trying to set up whatever they can in, compliance with what the village has set forth as far as occupancy goes. And so, they're working hard to do as much as they can here and stage it to be able to get it over there when we're ready. It's a lot of equipment to set up, a lot of things to configure, but we've got a lot of people working on it.
And these tours and things that we're going to do too, obviously the whole COVID situation is very fluid once again. Are we having any talks about how we want to do this and keep holding back or doing anything that accord?
Well, at this point, we're looking at the event itself will probably take place outside the building in the front yard, and then we'll have small tours going through, so everybody can see it. But as far as pushing it back or that, we haven't come to that point yet. But of course, things change day to day with COVID.
Very good. Any other questions? And if you guys hopefully get a chance to the grapevine comes through every Monday. There's that link, that Chris has on there to everything that's going on there. It's fantastic. Can't wait to get this thing going. Get in there, can't wait.
We are all very excited.
Annie.
Okay, so I know we got the $3,000 thing. What does it look like? And it's not in this picture. So I'm guessing it's just not installed yet. Just wanted to know what.
Yeah.
Can we dedicate it to trustee rules?
Sure.
Rules.
I think we should.
This sink rules.
Sure, thanks.
It'll be a sink that's appropriate for the art space. So it'll be a drop sink.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And hopefully I won't have to see it next month's meeting. I'll just see you at the opening.
Okay, let's move on to item 5, staff presentation for One Book, One Village.
Okay, I would like to invite Megan Young and Elizabeth Woodman to the table to talk about our One Book, One Village selection for this year. I believe they have the presentation, so we'll give them a minute to get set up.
We do. Bear with us, we have a little visual. All right, so first I'm gonna go ahead and all right, we're gonna share our screen so that everybody can see it. Let's share. And then present. There we go. Okay.
Elizabeth,
Yes.
you're sharing. Oh, never mind.
Good.
Yep, you're fine.
All right. All right. Thank you, everybody. So my name is Elizabeth Newman, and I am one of the info services supervisors here at the library. Specifically, I supervise the reference librarians, and this year I am heading up our One Book, One Village planning team. And with me is Megan.
Hello, trustees. My name is Megan Young. I'm the programs and exhibit supervisor and in Jennifer's department, so I do adult programming.
Right, so we are going to tell you about this year's One Book, One Village, and then we'll also be able to take questions. Before we get to actually talking about the title, we just wanted to touch on a little bit our selection process. So our selection team this year consisted of 15 team members, staff members across 7 different departments at the library. So we have really good representation from folks who serve the public, different age groups, different audiences, as well as people behind the scenes. And
As you can tell from our smiling faces, we had a really great time.
Megan moves.
Yeah, I was losing it.
So all of these folks are very dedicated, enthusiastic, and voracious readers. Together, we had 30 nominations of 25 different titles. And then as you can see, we did all of our reading, deliberating, and our internal voting virtually in early 2021. So the book that we selected is our highest recommendation from this group. It was a book that seemed really unique and interesting, a great opportunity, and something that we were all really, really excited about. So it is called Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants. Thank you, Megan. And it is by Robin Wall Kimmerer. So the book itself, Robin Wall Kimmerer is a professor of botany. She's also a poet and a member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. And she writes with a really unique lens. So the book itself is a nonfiction collection of essays, and it brings together Indigenous ways of knowing and scientific knowledge, and this author-scientist mission to bring those things together with the purpose towards humans healing their relationship with nature. So it's nature writing, it's in a very lyrical style, really beautifully told. The stories also explore human relationships like friendship, motherhood, and also just the spirit of community. And then in writing from a Native perspective, the author in the book touches on the colonization of America, and also the erosion, but then also attempted preservation of Indigenous cultures. And then really interestingly, so this book was actually first published in 2013, but it has now, 7 and 8 years later, reached bestseller lists, primarily through word of mouth, which is almost unheard of in publishing. So this book really seems to be having a moment right now, and we're just really excited about the opportunity to bring this to the community.
Yeah, this book is showing up everywhere, so we're very excited that this is our one book this year. And it is different paced than our usual one book, one villages. Each one it allows time for reflection, so you can read each of the essays at surface level, but there's also a deeper meaning with each of them. So it's definitely a book that you can read multiple times or read out of order the essays, or just read an essay, put it down, reflect, pick it back up, and then read the next one. So we're really excited about that whole experience as a whole.
In kind of our selection process, we were constantly thinking a lot about how different books might resonate with the community, particularly at this moment in time. Like, this is a strange world that we currently live in. And so this book really seemed to bring together a lot of different themes and kind of timely elements. So during COVID-19 and the pandemic, I think many people kind of experienced a return to nature. Throughout our selection process, we were talking about, there's no place to go except outside. And so going outside and encouraging people to do things like simple things like take a walk or explore forest preserves or start a garden. I think we saw a lot of that kind of thing happening. And then there was also a kind of return to a farm to table or yard to table food. We saw a lot of people making bread, perfecting their banana bread, but then also preserving and canning and things like that. Additionally, kind of continuous natural disasters and extreme weather continue to heighten public concern over climate change, and that brings into focus humans' interdependence with the natural world. So we're excited about that theme as well. And then there also continue to be pervasive headlines surrounding social injustice issues, which emphasizes the importance of the library's commitment to promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we were really, really excited to be able to highlight a book, showcasing Indigenous cultures and wisdom, written by a Native American author and supporting those initiatives. And then importantly, these may all seem kind of heavy and serious themes, but this is a book that's really positive. It's one of positivity, hope, renewal, and resilience. And so we think that that will really resonate with your community as well. All right, so all of the books. This, just to kind of give you an idea of the sheer volume of One Book, One Village, although I'm sure you've obviously experienced it in the past. With the help of our awesome collections department, who helped with ordering, cataloging, and processing the books. We do have regular type books for display and checkout. We have about 250 of those copies. We also have regular type books for programs, meaning our book discussions, and then also for book discussion groups in the community, another 250 of those copies. The book is also available as a CD audiobook. All of our physical copies will also be available at the Bookmobile and the Senior Center as well, so it'll be everywhere. Then it's also available in Japanese and Polish, and then as an ebook and an e-audiobook. So total, all formats of this book in particular in the library right now, there are 653. And as like I said earlier, that's not a stock photo, that is the back room in our info services office, just chock full of copies ready to go. Potential is there, yes.
Can you help me with the ebooks on Cloud Library Hoopla?
Sure.
So how we access those through HMO?
Sure. So you can always get help in depth if you wanted to call or come on in. The best way to access each of those is actually through an app on a device that you're going to read on. So if you have a phone or a tablet. Otherwise, you can also access it on a computer straight through the catalog. It'll take you to where you need to go check out and read in the browser.
Is it accessible through all varieties of tablets, or are there some that are not compatible?
Yes, yeah. So the only ebook platform that is not currently supported by the library are black and white Kindles, but all tablets and phone mobile phones should be fine.
And like you can read, like I feel like I've done this. I can start a book on my phone and then read it on my iPad and it
Yes.
knows where I am.
Yeah, so it'll
that's
listen,
kinda
it's all
cool.
connected, it'll
Yeah.
remember where you are and
Right.
let you pick up where you left off.
Do you have any in large print?
That is at my next slide.
Yeah,
It is. So thank you for anticipating that. So
Good
this is,
segue.
yeah, so this is actually something that's unique this year. This book was unfortunately actually not available as a large type book. And indeed, I think none of the books that we were looking at are available that way. It's becoming a format that's less available in non-mainstream books or non super sellers. But we did want to make sure that this initiative was as accessible as possible, including to our audience with visual issues who might rely on large type, who don't want to use a device to read. So what we did, this was actually a really interesting process. We sought permission from the publisher to make large type excerpts. They granted that, which was so exciting. I'm so excited that they were able to do that. And so I actually have them here, and I'll go ahead and we can kind of pass it around if you would like. So we did select essays. We got them in large print. The publisher actually shared digital files with us. So this was printed and bound in-house, but really looks professional. And we're so excited to be able to offer that to the community. And the essays that are in there were selected because they're representative of the book as a whole. They weave together themes of Indigenous wisdom, personal narrative, and the poetry of natural science. And then Megan will discuss a little later some of the kind of programming that we'll do around that. All right, and then also unique this year, we do have a very deliberate effort to tie in with youth services, which is really exciting. Our youth services staff selected themed tie-in reads for different age groups for their book discussions, and they've also planned some youth programs as well. So we're really excited to have that. For our different age groups, we have a picture book called Fry Bread, a middle grade book called Ancestor Approved, and then for teens, a graphic novel called This Place, 150 Years Retold. So we're really excited to be able to kind of move forward with that.
Yes, so we are very excited that youth is along for the ride this year with OBOV, and they jumped right in and are doing 5 in-person programs, and that includes book discussions as well as hands-on. And like adult programming, they've also partnered with the Trickster Cultural Center in Schaumburg. So they are facilitating 3 of the youth programs and 1 adult program. So we're very excited to have this partnership and continue the relationship beyond OBOV this year. For adults, we have 16 programs, which is a little insane. We started out with our first tier of programs that we really wanted to do, thinking that, some just aren't going to happen, and most of them happened. So it's a great problem to have. And that includes like really cool things like bringing back our Wider Lens series, which is our documentary series. So we have
3 documentary films that focus on Indigenous cultures and wisdoms, and we'll be showing them and also having discussions following each of them. We also have a Rhodes Scholar who is coming, who will be talking about Native Americans and how they're perceived in the media. And then we also do, of course, have hands-on things like flower pressing and drying, doing a demonstration with that, foraging, really cool things.
Very, very cool things. I'm excited to participate in like most of these programs. I want to do forest bathing. I'm interested in the botanical tea making, really cool things. And before we move on, I'm going to go ahead and I'll pass this around as well. So we also have a mock-up of the brochure that will go with it that highlights all of the programs so you can actually see them all before they go live on Monday, as well as the book discussions. So if you want to take a look at this.
So we do have 9 book discussions this year. 2 of them are ESL, one is virtual and one is in person. And then there's also a book discussion at the Senior Center, and they will focus on the large type excerpts, doing those and programming around that. And then we also have the makerspace, which is very exciting, and 5 of our programs are going to be there. So we have really cool things like natural fabric dyeing, which will happen there. The garden tea program, which Elizabeth talked about, will be there. Make, do, mend. So if you pop a seam, learn how to resew it back up, and sustainability type of a thing like that. And then also a canning program, which I'm really excited about. And it's going to be making cranberry jam in our kitchen. And one of our programs is also going to be broadcast from the kitchen to a virtual program, and that'll be foraging. She's going to talk about the honorable harvest and the legal things of what you can and cannot pick and where you can and cannot pick, and then also show how to prepare your bounty and how to eat it. And then, of course, we have Robin Wall-Kimmerer coming. So every year we invite the author, and we are very excited. She is also very excited that this whole community is joining together around this book and around the themes and returning back to nature. So Elizabeth talked just a little bit about Robin Wall-Kimmerer earlier, but she is a mother scientist, decorated professor, author. She is an enrolled member of the Citizen Potawatomi Nation. She also holds a Bachelor's of Science in Botany from the SUNY Environmental Science and Forestry, and a Master's of Science and PhD in Botany from the University of Wisconsin. She's the author of many scientific papers on plant ecology and bryophyte ecology, as well as traditional knowledge and restoration ecology. So as a writer and as a scientist, she heavily focuses on restoration of ecological communities, but also restoration of the relationship between humans and the land and rebuilding that. And website. So we will have a website. Like last year, there were different subsections of the website, and they focused on very specific things just to help people get more involved in our community read. So these are our topics that we have. We have a section that is just about the book, one that's just about the author. We have one about how to attend book discussions. So all of our upcoming book discussions will be there. For your book club, as Elizabeth mentioned earlier, we have book discussion copies that are specifically for if you have your own personal book club. And our advisors have curated questions that will be accompanied with these books. So you're ready to discuss and get all excited about it. We have an Explore More page, which Elizabeth and her team have curated a lot of resources and information.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of time with those resources in the last few weeks. So we're really excited to highlight some Native voices in contemporary culture on this page, resources highlighting Native cultural institutions, both local and national level, as well as some resources to learn more about nature, particularly like native plants and the ecology of Illinois. And then also we do have highlighted on that page the library's new, which will launch next week, new local Indigenous history collection. So it's actually a book collection that will be housed in our Shapley Room for Genealogy and Local History, concentrating on Indigenous peoples from this area.
Mm-hmm. And then also we are currently working on a land acknowledgement. Our former genealogy librarian started the research in doing this. It is something that will not be ready by Monday because we don't want to rush it and we really want to make it intentional and right. But it will be on the website and it will be more informational. So what is a land acknowledgement? Why are we doing one? It will have resources, as Elizabeth mentioned, and it will also mention our community partners that we're working with to create our land acknowledgement.
What is that? I'm sorry, I don't understand. What is a land acknowledgement?
So a land acknowledgement is kind of a deliberate statement on behalf of an institution, acknowledging that the land that we're physically on was at one point occupied by Native peoples. And so as a way to acknowledge that and honor that, we wanted to make sure that we went through this process.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, launch time. So we have a secret website launch on the 21st, and that's just to make sure that everything is good to go. Make sure that all of our I's are dotted, T's are crossed. But the real big day is Monday. That's when our newsletter is going to hit. That's when our display is going up. That's when our public announcement is going to happen. That's when all of our programs are going live. So it's here. It's happening. We're very excited. And we're very much looking forward to the display, as it is always eye-catching. Graphics always does an amazing job, as you can see from the graphics that in the brochure and the excerpts. And then pop-ups. So we're not just doing things online or in our building, we're going out into the community. We will be at 3 farmers markets, and then also the September Movie in the Park, which is a partnership with the Arlington Heights Park District. And at those pop-ups, we will have our brochures, which have all of the programs and information. We will have the books for people to check out right then and there. And we will also have, this is really fun and exciting, we will have seed bookmarks to give out to people. So each of the bookmarks will be branded with the One Book, One Village logo, and you can actually plant them and wildflowers will grow, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, so we'll be showing up with all kinds of One Book, One Village stuff. So if you're out in the community or attending any of these, make sure you stop by and say hello.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
What is forest bathing?
Forest bathing.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, so forest bathing is very intentional walk in nature. And it's more mindful and focusing on yourself and your environment and bringing you more to the present.
Actually a Japanese concept, and there are some books about it that are really interesting. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that program and learning more about it. Yes.
It sounds wonderful, just very, very exciting. I'm just curious, what is the author charging for her visit?
She is $10,000.
We got such a gift from our author. She did it gratis for us.
Oh, wow.
Good night, oh my gosh. So we sent her a gift, it wasn't them.
Did anybody else have other questions or things we
A
can?
couple things. One, I know that Oprah has helped this cause, I think, quite a bit, if I remember correctly, a couple of years ago. As an Indigenous person, I want to thank you, first of all. This is pretty exciting to me. I'm actually familiar with her, and she is fabulous. So you guys did a fantastic job of the committee. I want to say that first and foremost. I'm excited because 6 years ago, I brought Mike the seed bookmarks from ALA. I'm glad to hear that finally.
They're reappearing.
They're appearing. Okay, remember, I don't know.
They were in a drawer.
Yeah. They were- I just think this whole process of One Book, One Village, I know a lot of people that participate over the years. The way it has evolved and has grown is a compliment to our staff, to be quite honest with you. And I want to just, you guys have done an amazing job, and it's been generational. It's been various people. It's always evolved. And I think this is one of the things that makes this library so great. And I really want to thank everybody in the committee and make sure that they know from the trustees how much we appreciate the work you're putting into this, because the creativity you're showing in this one and the broad audience. And now that we're bringing in the kids into this and the outreach to our underserved and some of our focus groups in the past from is just amazing. So you all should be extremely proud and know that we thank you very much from the board, because this is really quite amazing what you've done this year in a pandemic. So thank you.
Thank you.
Really is tremendous, it really is.
Okay.
Thank you. We're really excited. It's been a process since January, so to see it all come together finally and launch in a few days is really exciting. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree completely with Debbie. Everything, every year we go through these presentations and it just amazes me, This, by the way, is perfect for me. So thank you very much for the concept. But yes, it is great how you get the village, everybody in the village wants different groups, reading these books and talking about it. And I see it on Facebook posts. But what I really like about what you do every year is I get in a bit of a rut of reading science fiction all the time. And it's always a challenge. It always kind of brings me out of my comfort zone, something new, something that I don't know if I would have picked this book up and looked at it, but I will read it now. So thank you very much for the challenge, actually, of bringing something new every year. That's what it is.
Mike, are we going to the village board again?
To present it?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have it on the calendar, but I can talk to Randy about it.
Because we usually do that, yeah. I think that's been a good tradition and a good. I get some involved, and I know they read the book, so they talk it up, so you can't have too many cheerleaders.
It's true.
So it's Zoom, like the big discussion with her is via Zoom, correct? So does she actually come and do it here in the library, or does the person who's interviewing her?
Yeah, so she will not be here.
She won't.
So, yeah, and it will be virtual this year.
Yep.
And that will help. I mean, in the past, we've usually had to pay for our office travel costs
Right.
and things. So we're,
Yeah, no, you know what, I think I like live presentations, but there's something really nice and very inviting for someone that can't get childcare at night, gets home from work late. There's a lot of reasons why people might not make it in the end, and to go to your computer is so much easier. I found that with some of the programming that you did over the pandemic, where if I had to get in my car and drive 20 minutes, I might blow it off, but it was so easy. So I think that actually really probably helps a lot with, with enrollment or attendance. Are you doing anything with, it's great that you're doing this with, the 3 age groups of children. Are you doing anything specifically with any of the school districts?
good question. I don't think there's anything in particular planned as far as specific outreach with schools. But all of the youth programming that is planned is tied into their ongoing book discussion series, I know. So I'll be invited to participate.
Yeah, I'm just thinking a couple of my kids took AP environmental, it's the science class, but all the high schools have it. I don't know. It just seems like maybe reach out to those teachers or something and they could assign it. I don't know.
We can certainly bring that idea back to some of our youth staff for sure.
Make more work.
All right, anything else we can help with? Sorry, that's what I say on the phone before I hang up. All right, I'll go ahead and we'll stop our sharing here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good.
Okay, I think we're moving on to other now, correct? Okay, other. I just thought to start other here. I just make a comment really quickly. I just want to pass on the condolences to the family of Margaret Frisbee. As you know, we actually have our boardroom is named after her husband. What this family has really done for the village and for the library itself. And Julie actually was nice enough to put together some notes actually about Margaret. Some of these I didn't realize. Many of you might know she wrote a book. This bookish inclination, the story of the Arlington Heights Memorial Library, 1887 and 1987. What she's also done to document, a lot of things, the history of just this area. Has down here St. James Catholic Church. She did something. The first United Methodist Church of Arlington Heights and the Arlington Heights Historical Society. We moved here in 1954, and She was 98 and obviously did a lot for the community and for the library, the whole family. So just want to pass on our condolences. Thank you very much. And did one other thing out of the video.
Yes, just wanted to let the board know that the 2021 Illinois Library Association Annual Conference is October 12th to the 14th. If you would like to attend, please send Julie or Janet an email, let them know that you registered.
Anything else?
Sorry, another question. So when do we just assume for next year's calendar that our dates are the same unless they fall on a holiday? I guess what I'm asking is I know on what they send us a couple times a month, they show our upcoming meetings and it just goes through December.
Should we talk about 2022?
Yeah, so do we just assume that it's always, yeah, unless it falls on a
Yeah,
like a
and
holiday?
we will, when do we usually do it? When we do the 2022?
We do it in October.
Yeah, we do it in October. I thought, yeah, it's coming
So
up
it's
towards the end of this year.
okay.
We
Okay.
will do, we will go over the official,
Just want to make sure. Okay,
meeting schedule. So,
perfect. Thank you.
Yep. We're good. Anything else? All right, can we have a motion for adjournment?
I shall move with adjourn.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay, and we are done. Thank you all very much.
Good job.
Meeting, Greg.
Good night for everybody.